Alright everyone, welcome to this video. I wanted to get something so everyone can see really how the car's running, talk a little bit about the car and my time with it, a little bit about the maintenance as well, and yeah, get a driving video, show you guys cold start as well, just show that everything is working properly here. And this is a 1990 300ZX NA 2+2. Had this car since 2018, but purchased it off of a family member who's had it pretty much since new. So it's been in the family for a long time. Really proud of its condition and the work that we put into it. So yeah, time to show you guys around. What I'll do is I'll get this thing fired up real quick, let it start warming up while I do a little bit more of a walk around. But we'll start off with the cold start. Relatively speaking, it's 86 degrees here in Southern California right now. And this thing has not been running right now. Nice and cold. Can't get to the headers. Before I fire it up, I'll talk briefly about what we have going on. Again, this is a stock engine. The most notable service on this thing was in 2023. Was the 120K timing service done by Specialty Z out in Simi Valley. You guys might have seen the records in the document list on the Springer trailer auction, but that included the timing belt along with, cam gears and a few other things that the technicians there felt were necessary to replace while we were in there, including, for example, these cast aluminum coolant pipes. Those get corroded out, so it was a good time to replace them. All OEM stuff. I had already replaced these silicone radiator hoses from Z1. Again, I had also replaced this Coirad aluminum radiator, Nismo radiator cap, a couple more OEM pieces, fuel pressure regulator and damper. I replaced the spark plugs as well, Iridium, NGKs, and it's got a fresh battery in there as well. Also, power steering lines I replaced with Z1 silicone lines as well. And the one that goes off of the pump, that's an OEM piece. Okay, let me get this thing fired up here. Also, I'm going to turn the air conditioning on and stick a thermometer in there and give it a sec to cool down, but that way you guys can see. Okay, yeah, right now it's marking just above 80, so we'll give that a little bit of time, check in on it in a little bit, and show you guys that the air conditioning is working just fine. Okay. Windows down. Obviously no problem there. So the mirror adjustment works on both sides. Okay. Show you guys this thing. Getting up to temperature, nice smooth idle, good oil pressure, 111,000 miles. It's gonna get up to temp pretty quick. Again, it's not that cold here right now in Southern California. Also, the fan was replaced by me, again with an OEM unit. The plastic, cracks over time, so it's got a brand new fan. Good working clutch on that fan as well. It has also some aftermarket reusable air filters underneath the housing there, but not a whole lot else to report under the hood, which is a good thing. The front bumper was resprayed professionally about a month and a half ago. There was no damage or anything like that. It had just been faded over time. Note that, so these have a texture underneath from the factory. The painters decided to put a little bit of the texture up top here as well. It's not necessarily how it's supposed to be from the factory, but to be honest, I think it helps kind of give it a little bit extra protection, and it's not super noticeable. It's not a really rough texture, so I think it looks great. Let me get the headlights on as well. Headlights, fog light is on. Fog lights were off. Let's get this thing closed up. Brakes are great. OEM pads, new aftermarket rotors, stainless steel brake lines, some good brake fluid in there. This was done a couple years ago, but still really good. Pads in the back I did not replace when I did the fronts. They were in really good shape. I have an extra set of pads for the rear. That'll be included in the sale. The tires are brand new. Just mounted them. Mounted and balanced. The radio works well, and so does the power antenna. Let me show you guys that. So I actually replaced the power antenna about 2 years ago. The plastic components inside wear out. So I bought a refurbished one and put that in its place. The radio is all original. sometimes there is a little bit of a static sound that you can hear in old cars as you kind of rev up the engine. You get a little bit of a whine. It's intermittent. It's been there as long as I've had the car, so something that if that bothers you, it'll be worth investigating a little bit. Okay. Get this thing turned off. This is the part of the car that I think is the most fun, kind of unique aspect about it, is really the condition of the interior. It's so fun to get into this thing and know that it is in really good shape. Seats are super comfy. That bolster isn't torn. A lot of these with the kind of tweed cloth seats, it's hard to find them without that part being torn up. One downside of the interior, and I know it's in the pictures, the dash is lifting up a little bit. It's not a major eyesore, but it's worth noting. In here, the T-tops are in really good shape. There is a little bit of a leak from these tops. Again, it happens over time. It's worth replacing the seals if you plan on having this out in the rain. But these things come out no problem. Really lets in a lot of light, which I also think is really cool. These trim pieces where the it's kind of hard to see here, but the trim pieces that cover the handles of the T-tops have been replaced with OEM JDM units, so brand new Nissan parts. The only part that's different from the USDM to the JDM one is that these don't have the hole for the lock, but the lock is still there underneath the piece of plastic. So if you were determined to have the lock exposed, you could either drill it out or replace it with a USDM part. But trunk opens up by itself. These were Z1 struts. Again, I replaced those not too long ago. This is all the stuff that'll come with the car. Stack of maintenance records. These are the original trim pieces that I was just talking about. Owner's manual in here. This is the old antenna motor. I'm throwing it in case you want to rebuild it, have a spare. Some other original trim pieces. Again, I replaced these just to freshen up the interior, but the originals were in really good shape, so that goes with the car as well. Original shifter boot and e-brake boot, decent shape, but they go there. New pedal. Here's that new set of brake pads. Oh, and it has a Z1 short shifter, so the stock shifter goes along with it. Let's get inside real quick. Show you guys that the AC does indeed work really well. Just over 40 degrees in there, so perfect for these summers. The AC system has been converted to R134, I believe is the more modern refrigerant versus the R12 that this originally came with. I know a lot of people say that when you convert them, the AC doesn't work or it's not as effective as with the old refrigerants, but as you guys can see, it is very effective. All right, let's so idle's dipped a little bit there. Again, good oil pressure. Sometimes that gauge, the oil pressure gauge, reads a little bit low. It's got a new oil pressure sending unit, so it's obviously working fine right now. Gotta add windshield washer fluid. Also, tapping the brakes, the light comes on, usually indicating that there's a brake lamp fault. However, the brake lamps are working no problem, so that's been an issue since I've had the car, or a nuisance. I wouldn't call it an issue. All right, let's get this thing on the road. All right, let's get this thing out on the road. I'm gonna do my best here to record safely. You guys can see that, okay. Transmission shifts really well. Sometimes when it's really cold outside, the 1-2 shift is a little bit notchy, but I think that's just to be expected with a transmission that's this old and original. Shifter feels really good though. So you're welcome to put the stock one back on, but I've really enjoyed having the Z1 short shifter. You guys can see throttle response is great. That's one really cool thing about this powertrain is even though it doesn't have a ton of power, it's got enough to really get moving. And I think the throttle response is one of my favorite parts of the actual driving experience. I mean, it's really snappy and yeah, it's got a good feel. Makes downshifting, rev matching, all that good stuff really easy. Nice steady idle. Never had any overheating issues or anything with this thing. Not since I put the aluminum radiator in there. The original one was leaking, so that's why I replaced it. Really comfy car to drive with the stock suspension. I have owned lowered cars on coilovers with stiff suspension, and you know, that is really fun in its own way, but this thing is really cool to just get in and go. Easy daily driver. Does really well on the highway. Pull over here real quick and kind of wrap things up. Here's a reverse for you guys too. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Show you guys a little hot start too, obviously. And that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.